Ladies and gentlemen, before gold fills your hands, it must fill your mind. A millionaire is not born in a vault. They are born in consciousness. The outer world is but a mirror of the inner realm. If you hold the image of lack, you will walk in it. But if you dare to hold the image of wealth, speak its language and live its energy, long before it arrives, you draw it forth by the law of spiritual agreement. Your thoughts are seeds. What you water grows. So I ask you, are you planting thoughts of poverty or prosperity? Do you say, I can't afford it? Or do you declare, infinite supply is mine now, and all things flow to me in perfect time? The word you speak is law. The millionaire mind speaks only the end result. It does not beg, it does not chase. It declares you cannot walk into riches with a fearful heart. Fear is faith turned backward. It magnetizes trouble. But faith opens doors no man can shut. When you know your supply comes not from job or person, but from divine source, you stop striving and start allowing. And what you allow appears. Begin to prepare. The millionaire dresses in alignment with the vision. The millionaire blesses every dollar with gratitude and sends it forth with joy. The millionaire clears clutter, mental, emotional, and physical, because new riches cannot dwell in old spaces. Act as if you are already the person you desire to be, because in truth you are. Only time separates you from your full harvest. And finally, trust in divine timing. What you seek is seeking you. What belongs to you will come by right of consciousness. Stay in alignment, stay in faith, and say daily, all that is mine by divine right now comes to me under grace in perfect ways. You are already rich. Your bank account will catch up. Before any coin touches your palm, it is formed in the invisible realm of thought. Every mansion was once a mental blueprint. Every fortune began as a quiet idea, nurtured with unwavering focus. Your thoughts are creative tools, living forces, and when you think a thought with emotion, you impress it upon the invisible substance of life. What you consistently think, you eventually live. The laws that govern the universe are not moved by effort or striving. They are moved by vibration, and thought is the first vibration. When your mind is steeped in thoughts of wealth, abundance, and divine supply, you begin to harmonize with those very frequencies. The law cannot do otherwise. It responds to the pattern you hold. The reason many fail to experience abundance is not because the supply is withheld. Supply is infinite. It is ever present and flowing like a mighty river. The issue lies in consciousness. If you do not believe you are worthy, if you think small, fear large, or expect little, then the wealth cannot find its way to you. The river flows, but your thoughts build the dam. The millionaire does not wait to have money to think richly. They think richly first because they know the thought is the mold into which substance pours. They do not entertain ideas of limitation. They reject thoughts of lack, doubt, or comparison as if swatting away poisonous flies. They know that what enters the mind must eventually express itself in form. Therefore, they guard their thoughts as sacred. When you wake in the morning, what thoughts do you entertain? Do you say, I don't have enough? Or today, divine abundance flows to me freely and effortlessly? The former sets your day in chains. The latter sets it ablaze with opportunity. Thought is not idle. It is the beginning of all demonstration. Some say, but I don't see how I could ever become a millionaire. And that right there is the problem. They rely on what the outer world shows, but spiritual law does not operate by sight. It operates by knowing. You must know first within, and the without will follow. Hold the mental picture. Do not waver. Speak as one who holds the deed in hand, though the land has not yet appeared. The law does not respond to desperation. It responds to conviction. There is no power in a plea, but great power in a proclamation. Even in silence you are speaking. The silent thoughts that run through your mind, the inner conversations, the imaginary arguments, all are creative. All are shaping the mold. So if you speak words of prosperity in the morning, but rehearse fear by noon, you dilute the power. Hold your words steady. Let it not be double-minded. The spiritually wise person speaks with purpose. They do not repeat what the world says. They declare what spirit has already promised. They do not echo the news, the statistics, or the temporary facts. They speak eternal truth. And by doing so, they rise above circumstance and command it to follow. Let your word be law unto your life. Do not speak of the problem. Speak only the result, only the vision, only the divine conclusion. For the universe does not listen to your need. It listens to your knowing. Faith erases fear and unlocks supply. Fear is the great enemy of prosperity. It is the shadow that follows every unguarded thought, waiting for permission to enter. It is not a force in and of itself. It is the absence of faith, just as darkness is the absence of light. And just as a single candle drives out the dark, one spark of faith can dissolve fear and open the gates of abundance. Faith is not blind hope. It is not wishful thinking. Faith is a spiritual knowing, a deep inner assurance that what you desire already exists on the unseen plane and is moving toward you now. It is the key that turns the invisible into the visible. It is the bridge between your prayer and its fulfillment. Faith is the invisible currency of the universe, and it purchases every good thing your heart can imagine. The moment you feel fear, recognize it for what it is, nigh. Fear says, there is not enough. Faith declares, my supply is unlimited. Fear whispers, what if it doesn't happen? Faith answers, it is already done in the invisible, and I walk in it now. Fear dwells in circumstances. Faith rests in the divine law. One creates confusion, the other creates miracles. You cannot think like a millionaire while feeding fear. Fear cuts you off from supply. It shrinks your vision, paralyzes your intuition, and leads you into poor decisions. Fear is a form of mental debt, a deficit of trust. Every time you worry about money, about outcomes, about how things will come together, you are withdrawing from the bank of the universe without making a deposit of faith. Faith is your deposit. When you affirm your good, boldly, joyfully, without hesitation, you are planting seeds in the divine soil of life. And these seeds do not return void. They blossom into opportunities, ideas, connections, and solutions. What you truly believe, not just mentally but spiritually, begins to take form. The millionaire mindset is anchored in faith. It does not ask, where will the money come from? It affirms, the supply is already prepared. It does not tremble when the outer world looks uncertain because it knows the outer world is but a shadow. The real work is happening in the unseen. Faith says, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me comes to me by divine right. Faith also unlocks divine timing. When you trust, you stop rushing, you stop grasping, you allow the process to unfold. You know that delays are not denials, that closed doors often precede greater ones. The faithful mind does not panic. It listens for inner guidance, and when it moves with power. Fear wants control. Faith lets go. Fear clutches, faith releases, and in releasing, faith receives. The open hand gathers. The clenched fist gathers nothing. To walk in faith is to walk as if the thing were already done. You do not need to see it to believe it. You believe it, and then you see it. That is the order of divine manifestation. Faith is not created by evidence. Evidence is created by faith. Every dollar you have ever received, every opportunity, every answered prayer, all were the result of faith in some form. Whether conscious or unconscious, faith was at work. And when you make it conscious, deliberate, and constant, you become a master of manifestation. You stop reacting to life, and instead, you begin to co-create it with divine intelligence. Fear may knock, but it cannot enter unless you open the door. Keep that door shut with the firm lock of unwavering belief. Guard your atmosphere. Surround yourself with truth, with affirmations of supply, with words of power. Speak them aloud. Let them saturate your being until faith becomes your default state and fear finds no home in you. Preparation precedes manifestation. You cannot receive what you have not made room for. In the divine order of things, manifestation is never random. It is precise, calculated, and governed by spiritual law. The universe delivers not according to want, but according to readiness. The question is never, do you desire it? The question is, have you prepared for it? Desire without preparation is empty motion. You may say you are ready for increase, for wealth, for the millionaire life, but are your actions aligned with that declaration? Are your thoughts clear, your space open, your energy uncluttered, or are you asking for rain while standing beneath a closed umbrella? Spiritual law is exact. What you prepare for, you are claiming by faith. Preparation is proof of belief. You don't wait for the evidence before acting. You act in expectation of the evidence. You get ready, mentally, physically, emotionally, as if the thing were already at the door. Because when you truly believe, you cannot help but prepare. The millionaire consciousness makes room in advance. It sets up the structure for overflow. It organizes its affairs, blesses its environment, and walks in the rhythm of as if the business were already thriving, as if the investment already returned, as if the wealth were already circulating. This is not delusion, it is the law in motion. Clean the drawer, clear the inbox, organize the finances you already have. Show that you are a steward of the little and the great will come. You cannot expect the universe to send more when you are careless with less. Make space for the blessing, and the blessing will know where to land. A prepared space is a magnet. It signals to the divine that you are not wishing but welcoming. If you desire to be a millionaire, then live now in accordance with that vision. Speak with clarity, move with purpose, dress with dignity. Treat your current affairs with the excellence you expect to display at higher levels. Nothing is too small to be spiritual. Even how you fold your clothes or pay your bills is a form of declaration. Many cry out for change but do nothing to meet it. They say, when the money comes, I will be generous. When I have more, I'll be organized. When success arrives, I'll think better of myself. But the law does not respond to when. It responds to now. What you do in the now is the seed of what you experience next. You must also prepare inwardly. Release the old thoughts that contradict your desire. Banish the limiting beliefs inherited from family, culture, or past failures. The new cannot take root where the soil is still packed with weeds. You cannot pour fresh oil into a vessel that's cracked with doubt. Ask yourself daily, what would I do if I knew the wealth was already on its way? Then do it, speak it, live it. Rearrange your life accordingly. That is the faith that draws forth manifestation. The prepared heart is expectant, not anxious. It does not force, it allows. It does not hope timidly. It expects boldly. Your environment matters. Your habits matter. Your routine, your tone of voice, the way you speak about money and opportunity, all of it prepares the field. If you are believing for much, create space for much. Do not insult divine supply by making room for only crumbs. The universe is ready when you are. The supply exists. The riches are stored in the infinite and await your conscious invitation. But first, you must become the one who is ready to receive them. Divine timing and right action. There is a perfect time for every harvest, and no seed bears fruit before its season. Divine timing is not delay, it is precision. The universe operates by spiritual law, not by human urgency. When you understand this, you cease to strive and begin to trust. You no longer chase outcomes. You align with divine order and allow what is yours to unfold in perfect rhythm. Impatience is the ego's voice saying, I must control. But spiritual wisdom knows everything good comes on time. Not late, not early, but exactly when you are ready to hold it without fear, doubt, or misuse. Divine timing is not just about waiting. It is about preparing while trusting. It is about moving in tune with the higher clock, not your personal watch. To think like a millionaire before becoming one means to rest in the assurance that your wealth, your opportunity, your expansion is already appointed. Your part is not to force it, but to remain faithful in thought and obedient in action. When the time is right, the right door opens, often without strain or explanation. That which is truly yours cannot pass you by, but it may require you to walk through a process before it is revealed. Right action is the companion to divine timing. It is not frantic doing, it is inspired movement. The spiritually aligned person does not act just to be busy, they act when led. They listen for the still, small voice. They respond to nudges of intuition. They make the phone call they're prompted to make. They begin the project they feel drawn to begin. Right action is quiet, certain, and efficient. It is always in harmony with the greater unfolding. When you are aligned with divine timing, you don't act from panic. You act from peace. You don't jump at every opportunity. You discern. Some things may glitter but are not gold. Others may seem insignificant, yet hold the seed of great expansion. The spiritually awake person prays, prepares, and then acts when the inner signal says, a now. This is not passivity. This is active faith. You do not sit idly waiting for blessings to drop from the sky. You cultivate a rich inner atmosphere. You keep your tools sharp. You remain available. And when the call comes, you are ready. The right idea, the right investor, the right strategy, the right client. They arrive not by chance, but by spiritual alignment. Many people miss their moment because they are either too rushed or too rigid. They force what isn't ripe, or they resist what is already trying to emerge. Both are rooted in fear. Fear of missing out, fear of loss, fear of not being enough. But divine timing does not bend to fear. It waits until your consciousness matches your desire, until your inner world is a true fit for the outer gift. Every delay carries purpose. Every pause is a preparation. Sometimes the seeming await is the gift itself, a chance to develop character, faith, clarity. A time to release what no longer serves, so that when the blessing comes, it does not crush you, but elevates you. Right action often looks small, but carries great power. The decision to forgive, the courage to rest, the willingness to follow through on a quiet prompting. These are the invisible acts that shift reality. The millionaire thinker understands that the biggest shifts happen beneath the surface. They are patient, but not passive. Trusting yet alert, willing but not willful. Divine timing is a covenant between your desire and your destiny. And right action is the proof that you trust the process.